Welcome to day number 2, this video number 2. I'm overwhelmed by the response of video number 1, and I want to thank you before I do anything today. I want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the kindness and comments below and just your involvement. I got several emails too. That's hard. Those are hard to go through because there's so many. It's better just to leave comments below. I see them faster and I could respond to them faster. But I'm overwhelmed at how you guys have responded to the simple lessons I've been showing you. Today's going to be no different. It's going to be better because I'm going to show you the second technique after you have a block, a framework. Okay? So yesterday, obviously, we went through 2 shapes of one chord, 2 places, and then the notes around those shapes, just focusing on the major sound, okay? And then we learned how to transition and in between and how to connect the 2 little Legos that we built yesterday, if you think of them as shapes like that, okay? The reason I don't talk in scales, or some people say this is the cage system, which it's not. I call it the cage system for grown-ups. Because that's not how I think and that's not how I learned. I didn't know what a major scale was until after 20 years of a successful career in music. All right, I'd already been on the road and played with everybody in Nashville and done all that cool stuff before I even knew what a scale was. So naturally when I started teaching, I'm like, I gotta teach scales, right? And then I thought, why would I teach anyone something that takes years to learn with that language? Now, these are scales because you can call something 2 or 3 million different things, okay? They are scales, obviously, and they're variables of the same scale. Skipping around and only using 5 notes of the major scale. And say, you can call it that, but that's not the language I want to implement here. And I don't want to limit us even further by saying it's a cage system, because it's not anything that I've seen with the cage system. That's also limited, and that takes, here's the point, it takes one separate isolated block, like the G major scale, for instance, and it puts it in a little compartment that's separate from 5,000 different things you got to know. What scale it is and where to play it and how to play it all the way up and down the neck, and the mode that it's in is, the first mode of 7, and the theory and everything like that. What I'm showing you, and that's just the piece, the tip of the iceberg, and all these videos this week are just going to be a piece, just showing you the grand system, all right? That's why I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm going to just keep this thing going as long as you'll have me. But I took probably 5 different methodologies in the first video. Probably more than that if I really wanted to dissect it, and made them one. So it's one block of information containing maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 understandings. You're understanding it all in one block. So if you understand the lessons in a video that was 36 minutes long yesterday, and you can play a tasteful guitar solo over about 3,000 songs off the top of your head, then would you rather learn that or the cage system or a scale or whatever? That's the whole point of this thing. Is we're reinventing a language that takes a lot of things and makes them one simple thing. I hope I got that point across yesterday. I'm just going to keep pushing the envelope on that, because that's how I learned. Within 6 months, I was my daddy's lead guitarist, and for 10 years after that, and went on to do all kinds of cool stuff with this simple system. All right. Now, like I said, I've got, like today's technique will be ingenuity. Yesterday was induction. I like the I words apparently. And ingenuity would be today. this is going to be really simple. I'm going to give you just a few things to work on. I'm going to teach you 5 techniques that this is all I want you to do forever, for hours, and break a sweat with this, all right? Chunk this down into little segments, all right? If you're a beginner, you can still do this. I've taught beginners on their very first day these techniques. Send them home with one thing to do, okay? That's how these networks are created and made. But when you're working on one understanding, like this, like one technique, let's say, understand it around the other blocks that we built yesterday. The one understanding yesterday of 2 different shapes of A and the notes around each shape and how they all connect. That was one flowing mechanism, all right? You're building just a beautiful machine right here, all right? So these 5 techniques should be played with the understanding and the imagery of those shapes and the notes around those shapes, all right? I can't stress this enough. And you're going to be super inspired after today. I hope I might be able to keep it shorter than 36 minutes. I wanted to kind of indoctrinate you on the whole process yesterday. That's why I talked a lot more, and that's why it was a little bit longer. Nobody cared, by the way, which I'm so relieved and pleasantly surprised about. Nobody cared that it was almost 40 minutes long, because it was great content, and it opened up the eyes of so many people that if you read the comments below, there were people that had played for 30 and 40 years that the lights came on in video number 1. Isn't that amazing? That's what I'm here to do for you guys. Without further ado, let's get into some of those techniques. I'm going to show you one or two more shapes. We'll put another, screw it. Let's put another 2 blocks onto this Lego house we're building here. Another 2 more blocks. That way it can all be one flowing beauty at the end of today's video. And then tomorrow's video is really going to freak you out. I'm not going to get into it right now, but you're going to really, really enjoy tomorrow's video. It's where most of it's where it all comes together, all right, in a beautiful way. And then I'm going to have a 4th video for you, all right? Like I said, thank you so very much. Let's get started right now before I start crying. All righty. Okay, let's come down here and refresh real quick. Here's the first shape. The second shape. Okay, and the notes. Okay, we learned a couple ways to connect. All right, let's come up here and create a block from here, from this A, that passes through this A and goes to this A. So there's only 2 new A's. I would bar the 3rd, 4th, and 5th string on the 7th fret, and then on the 9th fret, 3rd string. And if you want to add your pinky to the 10th fret, 2nd string. I'm a little out of tune. It's beautiful, ain't it? Yeah, I'm way out of tune. So there's this one, and there's this one. All right, now come up here, 12th fret, 5th string. I don't even know if we should use that. So come down here, 11th fret, 4th string. Okay, 9 for the 3rd string, and 2nd string, 10. It's a pretty chord. So, okay, this one, that one. I'd only use 3 strings, just let's think in triads, okay? There's the first one, 3 strings. Second one, 3 strings. Third one, 3 strings. And then, all right, so what I want you to do when these are tabbed out, you have them, the tabs below to download, is just forever go between this one, this one, there's no rules, guys, on what finger is on what string, that there's no bass note or root note. That's like an A5, because it has 2 E notes and only 1 A note in it. So E is the dominant sound in that, but it's A. It's played around A. I don't want you to get hung up on technicalities and exactness and, well, that's not the full chord and things like that. These are just to give you the template, the understanding of a template right here, a template right here, a template and a template, and then just a simple way to connect them, all right? So I'm going to show you how we've learned how to connect this one to this one. All right, so let's start right here, since this is an A, if we're thinking around the whole shape of A, okay, the whole chord's right here. Let's start on the 5th fret, 6th string, and kind of do what we did here when we walked up. It's the exact same notes, but right here. Slide up from the 5th, 7th, and 9th. And that's all we're going to do with this shape right here. Okay? And then while we're here, we're going to do it again on these strings. So, and connect this shape to this shape. So you could do it here. So you're in this shape now. And then when you get there, you're already going up to this shape. All right, back down. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time repeating this because it'll be in your tabs, and you could watch this video a million times and even slow it down with your media player if you download it. I've heard that on YouTube, if you're on a device of some kind, there's little dots on the player that'll help you adjust the play speed. Okay, so if you need to slow any of this down. All right, now let's work on some techniques. Let's move forward, and I'm going to show you 5 different techniques. And then I'm going to fire up the chord progression, backing track. That way, you already know it works great over the A chord. Let's fire up that backing track we used yesterday. That's out of F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7. All right. So let's work on the 5 different techniques right now. Okay, the first technique I want you to work on is the sliding technique. All right. And we used some of this yesterday. Just slide from, instead of playing these notes, just slide up to the next one. Okay, now we're just sliding, we're using these notes, sliding into them. This will help you see these shapes more too, and all as one block. And the reason I'm only using one finger is because where you land is more important than anything. So you already have the shape if you slide up here. Okay, you could hit this shape, you're already in position for it. If you slide up with this, you have to rearrange your fingers, all right? If you slide up like that, you can't hold that chord or play the rest of the notes. So always think ahead of where you're going to be. This is the position, the shape. That's why the blocks have to stay intact. All right? All right? Do that for a quadrillion hours. All right? Steve Vai is one of my favorite guitarists. And if you need more reinforcement on why you need to do one thing until your eyes and ears bleed, he's much better at explaining and describing the reasons behind that, okay? And the magic that happens when you just do one focused, strategic exercise like that, okay? Let's go on to the second one to save time, all right? And this is just the same thing, but you're sliding down. So I just did it wrong, didn't I? Because I want to be able to grab my shape. Okay? So you want to use your first fingers to descend. Okay? Or your pinky. Like I said, what you want to pay attention to, always the shape that you're going to be in. So if you're in this shape and you're sliding up, you want to be sure these other fingers can just land. If you're sliding down, you want to make sure you're going to land where your fingers will be making the shape. All right? I can't stress that enough. So, slide up. And then slide down. Just work on that with the A backing track that I supplied in video 1. All right? Just that A. Just do it forever. Just sit around with headphones on or however you work on this stuff. All right? It'll pay off. So that was the first technique, slides. Here's the second technique, hammer on. And you're noticing there's a bonus technique that I'm throwing in there of vibrato. It's so important. If you're just playing scales and there's no kind of emoting involved, there's no kind of beautiful sound it makes, it won't register. Your brain almost kicks it out as useless, redundant knowledge, okay? So playing any of the stuff I'm showing you without some form of feeling, an emotion, and passion in your fingers, like... Okay, and we'll get into that other stuff here in just a moment. But use a little vibrato on the end of your notes. All right, so the technique was hammer on. It's where you only pluck it once and you hammer on the next note. That's how we did that. Let's go on up to these other shapes and include them since I taught you these. on that because it goes on up. Okay, same exact notes. Now we're up a third octave. Okay, they're all called the same notes. A, B, C sharp, D, F sharp, A. Okay, it's the same. All right, so, and I guess down here, I'll show you real quick, the pull off. We'll pull off since we're descending down these four shapes now. It makes sense to pull off. So that's when you pluck it once and pull off to the next note. All right. There's where I went from here to here to here to here and combined just those first two techniques. The slides, slide in, slide off, hammer on, hammer off. All right, let's go to the next one real quick. All right, the fourth technique is so important for beautiful, beautiful emoting and lead solos. All right, it's the bend. And there's only a couple strings that I would even ever use it with, really, in a lesson situation like this. All right, I might explore and kind of go rogue and bend these lower strings that are really hard to bend in a musical situation, but for teaching purposes, let's go with the most relevant ones. Okay, so grab your first position. What you're going to do, instead of sliding from this 4th fret into the 6th fret, 3rd string, you're going to bend up to that note. That's where it takes some serious relationship and intimacy with your instrument, because every guitar is a little bit different because of string size, because of fret size, the size of the neck. If it's an acoustic guitar, good luck with bending these strings, but it's completely possible, all right? So the first one would be bending this 3rd string from the 4th fret up to the 6th. And keeping all the other strings quiet and resting at this point. And you might have noticed when I'm ascended on this bend, I'll add vibrato. Okay, it's a beautiful thing. Here's another bend I'll show you real quick. Since we're here in this scale. All right, take this 2nd string, 5th fret, and instead of sliding, we're gonna bend this note, ascend and descend. Vibrato at the end. Like I said, don't make this too technical, okay? Bend it up, pluck it again if you want, to descend, or just a quick. All right? So bending techniques. I could spend all day. I have over 90 videos on techniques and bending techniques and things like that. But let me show you one more, and then I'm going to play and mix all of this together over that beautiful chord progression that we learned yesterday. And I'm going to connect this A to this A to this A to this A. So it's all one big happy thought and flowing phrase, okay? And I wish I could spend more time on video for the beginner guys and the guys that need more time with this. But like I said, you can download this stuff, loop it into short sections, work on each one of these techniques for an entire day. Just the hammer-ons, just the slide-ins, just a bend, the pull-off, the slide down, slide up, and see the shapes, okay? This is, like I said in the first video, this is about you exploring and going on a wonderful journey where your imagination can run wild with these techniques and the transitions. Okay, one more technique, and then I'll fire up that backing track, and then I'll see you immediately after that to tell you what's next. Okay, there's another beautiful technique. Okay, we learned the slide in and slide down. We learned the hammer on and the hammer off. Then we learned the bend. Okay, now we're going to do twins. These are harmonies. These will be for more intermediate guys and advanced guys. At first, you know. These strings can be played together, and when they are, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, especially over ballads like this, and country uses it a lot. All right, these are twinsies. And I'm only going to show you a couple of places where you can do that right now. I have several videos that I'm going to share with you later on connecting all of these using different modes and thoughts that you're going to absolutely love. All right, so let's work on just the first 4 strings here, where you can use it in this shape, and then I'll move up here and use it some in this shape. All right, we'll just work on the 2 first shapes of A. You can grab both of these, 3rd and 4th string, 2nd fret, and slide them both. Okay? You can also grab the 2nd and 3rd string, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and slide up to this position. Okay, you see I did the slide technique with 2. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm just kind of exploring on my own right now, messing around with it. All right, let's do one more. So I did the 2nd, 3rd string. I'm sorry, 3rd and 4th string. And then from this position to go up to this position. So 2nd string, 3rd fret, 3rd string, 4th fret, slide up a whole step to this position of A. You could hammer on both. All right, now let's work on the 1st and 2nd string. Right here, 2nd fret, 1st and 2nd string. Ascending. I'm so sorry if I skipped over some important things right there. I don't want every video to be an hour long for you guys, but I want you to revisit them and get these ideas. You'll have your tabs so that you could see what I was doing when I was doing it, all right? And you'll have the backing tracks. So right now, I'm going to do my best and just play a minute or so with that beautiful chord progression. I'm going to connect this and use all the 5 techniques that I just showed you. This shape, this shape, this shape, and this shape. All right? Because this is all about technique. Technique is transition. All right? So don't forget that. Thank you so much. Let's fire up that backing track, and I'll see you here in just a minute. I sure hope you could see all the things that we've worked in just in video 1 and video 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 different shapes of A. 1, 2, 3, 4 different notes around those positions, making one flowing mechanism that with technique seamlessly transitioning between all of it in a pretty sophisticated, can't even say it, sophisticated chord progression, all right, over a minor 7. That's not even in A, but all I thought was A. Isn't that crazy? I thought one system. There are so many of these blocks I want to show you. That's one thought. And it doesn't, like I said, does not take a long time to get these understandings. Just build upon each understanding, each block, one at a time. And I promise you, within a day, within a weekend, your understanding will compound. Okay? That's how it works. I've seen it happen with all different styles of learners and different styles of players and different ages and different stages in the game, all right? I'm going to leave you with that today. I hope that inspired you a little bit to try these techniques out with the backing tracks that I provided in yesterday's video. If you need to go back and revisit yesterday's video, the downloads are up. And so we'll just keep this thing moving, and I'll see you in video number 3. Love you guys so much. Thank you for your comments below. Keep them coming.